Oh my God, y'all. Oh, I can breathe. My God. Can y'all hear me? Okay. I know, right? I'm trying to project my voice. Good evening. My name is Lucina Kayee. I am a multimedia artist, screenwriter, and I co-run an organization called Black Disability Collective, and I'm the executive director of Atlas of Blackness. Ooh, I do a lot of stuff, so I'm like, all right. So I focus my work on working with young people who are survivors of the foster care system. That is interesting when we are doing movement work, right? Well, a lot of the work that we do as organizers, I've been organizing since I was a formerly incarcerated foster child when I was 10 years old. I helped organize a bunch of Black kids at a facility in Blaine. And to this day, even though I'm on the board of directors of one of the organizations for the foundation that runs that facility, they still hate me, but I was like 10 years old. And anyone who knows me from organizing knows it's a love-hate relationship with me. And I usually don't care. But when it comes to foster youth, right, I always want organizers, especially people in these spaces, to recognize when we're talking about liberation, when we're talking about doing movement work, there's one thing that centers everything, and it's foster children. I don't know how many of you know the history of foster care. Raise your hand if you know the history of foster care, where foster care comes from. So the interesting thing is, like everything in this country comes from England, right? We blame them for everything. And with foster care, the modern day foster care came from Hell's Kitchen, New York. You have the rich philanthropist, Charles Laurie Brace. They call him the father of child welfare. I call him a kidnapper, right? This man hated the fact that unhoused young people who were asking for money were in his space and started doing this thing called orphan trains, which places a bunch of young people across the Midwest and even in New York City, but especially in places like Minnesota. The work that I do is trying to make people understand, if we're talking about liberation of our people, right, we have to realize in order for all of our people to be liberated, especially when we talk about prison system, we have to figure out a way to abolish the foster care system. Think about the ocean, right? And within the ocean, there's plantain. Nothing in the ocean can really survive if plantain is not there. That's the child welfare system. If you don't focus on what's happening within the child welfare system right now, even if you restructure the prison system, even if you abolish the prison system, you will still have child welfare. And child welfare, like every system, adapts, right? Right now in LA, the largest group of people who are on death row come from the foster care system. Right now in Minnesota, during the pandemic, over 80% of unhoused people come from foster care, right? And doing this type of work, I always want people to realize that one thing about white supremacy and one thing about American individualism, we always think we have to do something by ourselves, right? We always have this idea that we have to do this work within our own groups, within our own circle, not realizing that's what white supremacy wants you to do, right? I have this friend today who I met a few years ago, it's Angela's daughter, a few years ago. We do different work, right? She runs a beautiful organization called Seas Worth Soaring. You need to check it out, right? And I run Atlas of Blackness. Me as a day was like, we do the same exact work. Today works with mothers of color, Black and brown and indigenous mothers, and I work with Black youth. I specify my work in Black children because when Black kids are free, everyone else follows suit, right? And one of the things working with people within my community, I realized that if you figure out how to do things as a community, there's no way for white supremacy to actually stop you, right? Because white supremacy adapts. It finds a way to restructure itself. It finds a way to find a Black face to go along with it. It finds a way to find a Native face to go along with it, right? But if you have multiple people from different communities set up to make sure that does not happen, there's no way for us to be stopped. So for what I need for y'all to do, My organization runs a program called Documenting MN, and some of y'all may know us and may hate us because we do be wild on the internet, but we're right now looking for funding because May is Foster Care Awareness Month. We do mutual aid work, and we want to make sure that the work that we're doing can actually continue to grow. So while you are thinking about how can I get involved during May, how can I get involved in this organizing work, how can I make sure liberation of our people actually happens, there's multiple organizations you can actually donate to. If our organization is like too much, we do have a little program called the Black Scholars Program you can donate to. But then you also have organizations like Seeds Worth Sowing and Holistic Whole. There's multiple orgs within Minnesota that are ran by Black women, because that's who I represent, Black women and Black gender marginalized folks, who you can donate to, who you can support, and who you can make sure that while white supremacy is consistently targeting trying to murder us, we can do our work without having to feel like we're by ourselves. Thank you.